So let's talk about placing these objects in Unreal Engine. So obviously we've got, our objects here in the content browser, and we can just drag our pre-imported object with the pivot that's been set to 0. So that's very useful and very important. So I personally am used to placing objects in Max. A lot of these scenes have been placed and worked on in 3dsMax already. So there's a very, very nifty little trick to get these objects placed in a way that they are all instances of each other. Currently, there's Datasmith, which is being implemented by Epic Enterprise in beta, which actually does do that, imports everything as an instance. But I've been, for this scene, using the tool by the TS tool script. So if you bring that over, type TS_tools in Google, and you get this script exporter for 3dsMax, and it works really, really well. I'm sure most of you know it already, and you can export your objects to FBX and move each object to 0, 0, 0, which in this case we would have done when we export this bench and this table and the sofa and everything. So here, and well, the others are not that important, but the here what we're going to do is use this second option here, which I hadn't heard of for a while and had been using this script for a while. But what that does is copies the location and transforms, so even the scale, so all these values here, and copies that into the frame buffer, into the Windows buffer, and then so you can literally Control C and Control V into Unreal. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to make an instance of this table, and I'm going to copy selected object transforms and names to clipboard. Yeah, clipboard, not frame buffer. And I'm going to come back into my scene, and I'm going to Control V, and you see that that object has come in as a massive cube in my scene. And so if I select my bench, I've just selected my bench and click that magnifying glass here, which gives me the bench in the content browser. Now I've got my cube, which by the way has also come in with the name from 3dsMax, which is pretty cool. And I can just assign this bench to that placeholder, and this geometry has come in exactly as per the pivot in Max. So that's even more interesting when we've created an array of elements, or if things have been done as instances like this, for example. So now similarly, I just copy this and then back in Unreal. I'll delete this for now. Control V, apply, and my benches have come in absolutely super clean and with the pivot. So the only thing that really becomes problematic is if in for example, this is a group and it needs to be ungrouped and all collapsed and one object. So that's why I didn't do that, here I placed these boxes instead, which had the pivot at the right point, so I just roughly put these boxes instead and assigned and only exported the table and the bench and one of the sofas here, and I was able to only export these 3 objects and export and Control-C, Control-V the rest. So that's very, very quick, and especially for this restaurant scene here, it was incredibly quick because all the work had already been done. So it's literally, I didn't even have to do the boxes here because everything was modeled properly, so they were just chair with the pivot at the right point, everything at the right place. So it's literally Control-C per element, and then you can see they've only got 1 chair that's imported, 1 set of plate, and everything works beautifully like this. So that's very easy to manage for placing objects. So here similarly also the lights, the pivot point is right there, and so we're able to really transport everything exactly as per the 3dsMax scene very, very quickly and very easily this way.